someone is asking about aggressive tax planning. Well, about tax planning. Okay, let's face facts. The reality is that tax planning or tax structuring, it suddenly has a negative connotation, not just because of the various leaks, Paradise Papers, Panama Papers, Pandora Papers, or whatever. So it's not just a media thing, but in the minds of the policymakers as well as the various tax authorities, the whole idea of structuring and some sort of arrangement to benefit for just to exploit certain tax benefits or certain treaty benefits, that's no longer it's no longer fashionable. If we had this conversation maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, yeah, absolutely, right? You could set up shell companies and you can do this and that, but not in this, not in 2022 as we head into 2023. We're talking about principal purpose tests. There are so many anti-avoidance directives, especially within the EU. Economic substance is, it's that type of legislation and that requirement is being rolled out across most jurisdictions. And those jurisdictions that are hesitant, they are being put in, and hesitant to the extent that they still have like offshore companies and zero tax, where they may be viewed as tax havens. They're being put under pressure. So think Hong Kong and the United Arab Emirates being on a gray list. So this is real. This is real. And you can see that most jurisdictions are coming on board and heading in that direction, i.e. moving away from zero tax to putting certain measures in place to ensure that there's this principle, the idea of money should be taxed somewhere. So that's you asked from my perspective. That is my perspective. The days of aggressive tax planning is over. And various jurisdictions are looking at arrangements and they're putting rules in place. And practitioners who still have that old way of thinking, they are, they're becoming rare than they were previously. And I like to give the example of a Facebook friend of mine who he was a Canadian passport holder, is a Canadian passport holder. He was operating out of the Cayman Islands. And, there was, when you are caught by one of the more advanced jurisdictions and you're found to run afoul of the tax rules, one of the questions they ask is kind of like in the movies. They ask you, like, who helped you? So who are your enablers? So I would imagine that a number of people call this guy's name as an enabler. So the IRS, it sounds like something from a movie, but it's real. The IRS put an agent on a plane to the Cayman Islands. And this agent was wearing a wire and he was recorded saying, so this person came, well, I have this amount of money I'd like to invest. Could you help me fix it so that I don't have to report anything? Basically, getting him to admit to helping with tax evasion. So there's no extradition agreement with the Caymans. So it was a sealed indictment. No one knew that there was an ongoing investigation. And then this person jumped on a plane to Miami and he was arrested on trying to enter the US. And there was a plea deal. So he did time and he was released, but he's no longer on Facebook. So my point is this, that if you have an arrangement, an international structure, and there's no real commercial benefit, be careful, be very, very careful. The days of structuring your affairs strictly, especially internationally, strictly for tax benefit when there's no real commercial benefit, I propose that those days are over. And those people who engage in that activity, they're going to find themselves in some pain later on. And bear in mind that when an enabler is caught, so a tax agent, an investment manager, whatever, the first thing the tax authorities do is go through their books and look at all their other clients because they assume that this is a pattern of behavior. So if it is you work with advisors, even if you're not doing anything shady, right? You're doing the right thing, you're abiding by all the rules. If that agent, if that enabler, that tax advisor, that lawyer, that accountant, that fund manager, whoever it may be, if they get caught, the entire client list is under investigation. So you may be pulled in inadvertently because you are doing business with someone who's playing fast and loose with the rules. So keep that in mind.
So if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure investor, entrepreneur, or business owner who needs a tailor-made solution from a qualified team of professionals, we can help you achieve the international lifestyle, the freedom, and even the tax savings you're looking for. Visit us at htj.tax and live that international life.